How do people learn a second language? Is it through practice, natural ability, interaction, or cognitive development? In this video, we explore the major theories that explain second language learning and what they mean for teaching and learning. Second language learners are not all the same. They differ in age, cognitive maturity, emotional readiness, and learning environment. Unlike young children learning their first language, second language learners are not blank slates. They already know one language. This can help them understand how language works. While such prior language knowledge fosters metalinguistic awareness, an ability to reflect on grammar and structure, it may also lead to interlanguage hypotheses, where learners construct provisional rules that may diverge from target norms. Learning conditions also matter. Young learners in informal settings usually have more exposure, less pressure to speak, and fewer corrections. On the other hand, older learners often have limited time, more anxiety, and more explicit feedback. These differences shape how languages are acquired. Early theories explained language learning through behaviorism. Learning was seen as habit formation, based on imitation, repetition, and reinforcement. This perspective influenced the audiolingual method, where students memorize dialogues and practice sentence patterns. Researchers also proposed that similarities between the first and second language would make learning easier, while differences would cause difficulty. However, later research showed that learners make many errors that cannot be explained simply by habit transfer. Another view suggests that humans possess an innate capacity for language learning. This is known as universal grammar. Some researchers believe this inborn capacity for language is still available when learning a second language. Others argue it becomes weaker or altered after the first language is acquired. From this perspective, exposure to natural language is essential. Formal instruction may improve performance, but does not necessarily change underlying linguistic knowledge. One of the most influential interpretations of universal grammar theory is Stephen Krashen's monitor model. Stephen Krashen proposed a highly influential model based on 5 hypotheses. He distinguished between acquisition, a natural subconscious process, and learning, which involves conscious rule study. According to Krashen, consciously learned knowledge does not generate language, but acts as a monitor or editor that learners use to check and correct their output. Krashen also proposes the natural order hypothesis, which suggests that grammatical structures are acquired in a predictable sequence, regardless of instruction. In addition to this, he believed that learners acquire language when they are exposed to comprehensible input slightly beyond their current level, often summarized as I+1. Finally, we come to the affective filter hypothesis. Krashen argues that factors such as anxiety, motivation, and self-confidence act as a psychological filter that can either block or allow input to be processed. A high affective filter, such as stress, fear of making mistakes, prevents input from reaching the learner's internal system. A low affective filter, a relaxed, supportive environment, facilitates acquisition. Later research shifted toward general learning mechanisms. Cognitive and developmental perspectives draw on cognitive psychology, focusing on how the mind processes language. According to information processing theory, learners gradually build knowledge that becomes automatic with practice. Initially, they must pay attention to every detail. Over time, language use becomes fluent and effortless. Another perspective, connectionism, suggests that language learning results from repeated exposure to patterns in the input. Learners form networks of associations between words and structures. The more you hear something, the stronger it becomes. Your brain, therefore, learns the pattern automatically, without studying rules. The competition model argues that language comprehension is cue-based. Hence, learners must learn which cues, such as word order, grammatical markers, or animacy, are most important in a particular language. When you hear a sentence, the brain must therefore weigh and evaluate competing cues to decide on the meaning. Yet, cognition alone cannot explain language development. Learning also depends on interaction with others. Interactionist theories highlight the importance of communication. Michael Laum's interaction hypothesis explains that through interaction, learners receive modified input and opportunities to negotiate meaning. They ask questions, request clarification, and adjust their speech. Closely related is Richard Schmidt's noticing hypothesis. Learners must consciously register specific linguistic features in the input. Thus, attention and awareness act as crucial bridges between exposure and acquisition. According to Merrill Swain's comprehensible output hypothesis, understanding is not enough. You must produce language. Producing language pushes learners to process form and meaning more deeply, and hence become aware of gaps in their knowledge. From a sociocultural perspective, language learning is fundamentally social. The sociocultural perspective, grounded in the work of Lev Vygotsky, conceptualizes language learning as participation in social practices. Language is not merely an object to be learned. It is also the primary tool through which learning occurs. Cognition and communication are inseparable. Central to this perspective is the zone of proximal development, ZPD, the distance between independent achievement and what is possible with guidance. Through scaffolding and collaborative dialogue, learners co-construct knowledge. Over time, knowledge that is first shared socially becomes internalized. As future educators, you will encounter tensions among these traditions. Rather than choosing one, effective pedagogy requires integration. No single theory can fully explain second language learning. Each perspective highlights different aspects: habits, innate capacity, cognitive processing, interaction, and social collaboration. The key is integration, providing rich input, meaningful interaction, guided practice, and supportive environments. In our next videos, we will move from theory to practice, exploring how these frameworks inform instructional design. Thank you for watching.